So Gabriel Nassif and Tiago Chan are going to play on. They're now in Game 4. Nassif needs to win 2 in a row to get through to the semifinals here and defend the home turf. Tiago Chan trying to keep his Player of the Year hopes alive, trying to win the allegedly unwinnable matchup. Meanwhile, we are going to go ahead and move on to the semifinals on the other side of the bracket. We've got Japanese player Ryu Ogura piloting his Trisketron deck of Katsuhiro Mori's design against Nick Lovett, who just took out Katsuhiro Mori. So he's got a Boros deck with his own little twist to it, Wildfire Emissary being the most surprising card. Seemed awesome in a field full of Boros. Doesn't seem to be hurting him against Trisketron either.
I'd like to find out if he's siding them out.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I would have to assume.
I mean, not only are they 4-mana 2/4s, they're also red, and it's a deck with Cop Red. I'm sure they're coming out.
We have to assume he's bringing in a Ronom Unicorn and 2 Chiroclasms.
Sure.
For this match. He might not have enough cards to bring in. I don't know if he wants to bring in Stone Rains or not. We saw Annexes be very good against Gabriel Nassif. In terms of disrupting his Tron. Well,
sure.
Stone Rain, certainly. So you can actually bring in 4 Stone Rains, 2 Chiroclasms, and to disrupt the Trisketron deck.
That makes sense.
But that'll be Game 2. We still have Game 1 to deal with.
Looking at the forums, you were asking what people are doing. I see some guys playing Magic Online. Hakan is just staying up all night. It's only 1 a.m. in Vancouver, Washington. So,
nice.
It's not even late yet.
Hey, Hakan, how you doing?
Went to bed early to wake up. Right? Well, that works. Doing homework. Magic's more important. Right? That makes sense.
Josh Clater says it's 4 a.m. in Kentucky.
But he wants to see players that are much better than him playing. I'm sure there's some jokes there that pass by. Oh, Australia works out perfect, 7 p.m.
Okay, this is one of my favorite parts. I really enjoy being here and just knowing that there's people all over the world listening to us and watching us and keeping an eye on us to make sure we don't make too many mistakes. Or make sure I don't make too many mistakes. Anyway.
I make my fair share. Guy knocking the top of all of his decks in order to give Tiago some positive luck. Shouta Yasaoka. I've been getting it wrong, apparently.
Is it Shouta or is it Shota? Yasaoka.
Shota Yasaoka. Yeah, I know I've gotten the number of syllables wrong, if that's the case. Oh, mini fridge stock full of green teas and a couple of sandwiches.
Oh, man.
Waiting for the long haul. That sounds good. We've certainly laid in a supply of bottled water for ourselves.
As we're, because we have to replace all the fluids we're losing in this box.
This is a hot one.
This is a hot one. We had an air conditioner in Kobe blowing into the booth. That really spoiled me. That was very nice.
Who do you like in this matchup, by the way? I mean, we saw Nick Lovett win this matchup already against Katsu. Does that mean you got to like his chances here to get all the way through to the finals?
I do. I like Lovett. I like him to go 9-0 in Standard.
It's hard. 9-0 in Standard?
9-0 in Standard.
World champion Welshman Nick Lovett?
Absolutely.
Back-to-back rookies, following up on Jan Moritz Merkel's win at the last Pro Tour?
So these guys are just getting underway. Ryu's looking at his hand, and he doesn't want to keep that one.
Actually, should we do a come-in for semifinals for the archives? Do you want to pause them and then go out and come back in? Let's do that. So we'll just keep chatting until they're ready.
So Ryu's mulliganing to start off the semifinals here, and Lovett in true pro fashion has not looked at his hand yet.
Is that right?
He has not looked at his hand.
Wow. I don't even know if I could do that. How do you not look? Don't you want to know?
You don't want to give anything away. Do you believe you give anything away? I mean, that's kind of like, is that like the semi-pro move?
Yeah, I think so. Because like the true pro can look at his hand, be thinking about it, and still not give anything away.
You feel like you want that extra time to make the decisions?
Absolutely. I would.
Yeah, you watch Oiso mulligan and you realize, and someone who put so much time and thought into his mulligan decision, that you realize that I realize that I'm probably not taking enough time on my mulligan decisions.
Apparently the Brazilian word for awkward is inhábil.
All right. That ended up being extra inhábil, that whole...
Yeah, it worked out in the end for Mahara, though.
Poor Mahara, I see one of... Don't worry, it turns out okay for him.
We're catching up on the forums. How do you make that mistake in crunch time?
It's tough.
Yeah, playing under the lights especially.
And these lights are very hot. I mean, they're not just metaphorically hot. Like,
no, these are actually hot.
I was out in the feature match area before we started, and they are hot.
Craig Jones, anyone? Wasn't quite Craig Jones.
Wasn't quite Craig Jones. Like, if he'd flipped it up face up. Right.
Didn't quite have the theatricality. And I mean, as the get out of jail after the mistake.
It will go down as one of the more exciting top decks.
It was one tremendous top deck, no question.
But again, I mean, it's a top deck, but at the same time, he could have easily just collapsed there, and he did not.
No, I mean, he looked like he was almost going to lose his lunch. You looked at him when he realized he was one man short, and just there's this look of stark horror. But you know what? He got it together.
He rode it. He stayed there.
He was like, I got to find the play. I got to find the play. There's a play here. He's like, don't move until you see it. Right. There's a play here somewhere, and he found it.
He found he gave himself the only opportunity he could have to get out there. I mean, kudos to him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't lucky, but there's definitely something.
I don't know that I actually couldn't have run away from the table.
You would have been gone.
I might have been just so sick that I might have just dropped my cards and walked away, disgusted with myself.
Right.
I mean, the really interesting thing there is the ability to go, okay, I've just made one of the colossal
all-time Pro
Tour blunders.
Right.
What do I do now? How do I stay with this and figure it out? I think that's a really important lesson. You see people talking about that all the time, and that it's not just about not making mistakes. It's about minimizing your mistakes and not dwelling on them.
All right. Well, it looks like Nick Levette is going to keep his grip of cards.
Once he finally looks.
Yeah. We're going to take a very quick break, and we'll be back momentarily with coverage of the World Championship semifinals. Hello and welcome to the 2006 Magic the Gathering World Championships. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm here with Brian David Marshall, and we are watching the semifinal match between Rio Ogura and Nick Levette. Levette, a Welsh player, a member of the Welsh national team, playing in his first Pro Tour ever. He put together a Boros deck with a couple of twists of his own, ran the table on day one at Worlds, knocked out the reigning world champion Katsuhiro Mori in the quarterfinals, and now here he finds himself in the semifinals playing the same matchup. Rio Ogura running the Trisketron deck that Katsu put together. Rio Ogura, meanwhile, second World's top 8. He's been here before. He got the 3-0 sweep against Paulo Carvalho in the quarterfinals, and Ogura is through to the semis trying to help Japan go back-to-back. Katsu's not going to do it as an individual, but those guys have a lot of national pride, and they'd love to sweep the awards this year just like they did last year. What are you looking for in this matchup, Brian?
Well, I'm looking at Rio Ogura's deck list. He only has 3 Wrath of Gods in his main deck. He's got the 4th one in the sideboard.
Wow.
So Rio's going to really have to dig for his Wraths. And he
Nick
needs to get it early because Wrath of God is not really a big deal to the Boros deck. Right?
A lot of burn.
You want to get your guys down early and you treat them as burn spells. If Savannah Lion gets in for 4, you're thrilled.
Well, Nick went turn 1 Savannah Lion and turn 2 Savannah Lion. So he's gotten in for 2 so far, and is that Adhikar Oasis on a couple of points? Oh no, Rio brought a Hallowed Fountain into play untapped, so Rio's at 16.
And Ogura just tapped out on turn 3 to Compulsive Research.
Right.
he's going to find himself pretty low very quickly.
Yeah, he also mulliganed to start the match. So double mulligan. 5 cards to work with. A Boros deck breathing down his neck with those kitty cats. And looks like a Rift Bolt for 3, dropping Ogura to 9.
That's one of the tricks
Love it.
here.
Love it. Ships the turn.
You have to cast your spells while your opponent's tapped out. You don't want to risk any tempo. A Signet.
Oh, Signet, no 4th land. Does Ogura have the Wrath? Does he live long enough for us to find out?
The Wrath. I mean, he'll be dead tapping out for Wrath. I mean, more than likely.
Lion and a Lion. Oh, it's got 2 Savannah Lions and an opponent down to 5. It's right where the Boros deck wants him. Ships the turn. Ryu untaps. What's he got?
The Wrath here if he has it, but
I see a Signet and he ships. Wow. Ryu Ogura not looking good. He's got Mana Leak, Triskelivis. I think I saw another Signet.
Looks like a Spell Burst.
And Teferi. I mean, Teferi, in theory, can beat up a Savannah Lion, but it's not going to be in time. So Nick goes for a Lightning Helix, runs it into a Mana Leak, untaps. If he's got a burn spell, it's over. I guess Spell Snare, in theory, can counter one.
Yeah, you really
the
want
Lions drop him to 1. He wants a non-2 mana burn spell,
a Rift Bolt
ideally.
or a Char here.
Must not have it. He would have pointed it by now.
Oh, he might be thinking. Yeah. Thinking about the 2 mana spell, probably.
I mean, the Lions alone may get the job done. It's not clear. Ryu doesn't have an answer.
The Knight of the Holy Nimbus.
Yeah, I think Nick's trying to play around Faith's Fetters. Pretty reasonable. Add the Solitary Priest to the board.
There's 2 Faith's Fetters in Ogura's main deck.
And Ogura scoops him up.
Wow,
no Wrath of God,
fast.
no Faith's Fetters, and very blisteringly fast. Game 1 to Nick Levette. The little Boros deck that could. 7-0 and counting for Nick Levette. I believe he's now 11-0-2 on the weekend in Constructed.
He ran the table in Standard. Won 4 matches, and then picked up a couple draws, I guess, to close out his tournament in the Swiss. So he's really making a case for himself as an exciting new Constructed player.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go down to John Becker and check on the other match that's going on, which is actually the quarterfinal match between Gabriel Nassif and Tiago Chan. Tiago Chan leads that 2-1, which is a huge upset. Nassif was expected to sweep this. 2 very slow control decks, though, and Tiago Chan has really acquitted himself well. He's finding ways to win, and that quarterfinal marathon drags on. What's up in Game 4, John?
Well, we started a little bit ago. Nassif mulliganed down to 6, and Tiago's back on the Annex plan, but Nassif has a Muse Vessel working, picking apart at Tiago's hand. They're right now looking at a ruling on Muse Vessel and Remand. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I'll let you know as soon as I do.
All right.
The ruling is probably if you cast the spell off of Muse Vessel and it gets remanded, whose hand does it, what happens to that spell? I think the answer is it goes back to its owner's hand.
Yeah, it's not there's a meta rule in Magic that you can't have your opponent's cards in your hand.
Right.
Okay, the question was, if he uses the ability of the Muse Vessel to allow him to play the Remand, but chooses not to play the Remand, can he later reuse the Muse Vessel to play the Remand? And the answer is yes, you can.
Oh.
You need not to play the spell. You're only able to play the spell.
Fascinating. So it pays the mana to activate the Muse Vessel to sort of threaten the Remand.
Right.
Right, he's pulling mana out of a land that was being annexed by Tiago.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Not even
So what's the board state look like down there, John?
We have only Urzatron pieces sitting on the sea side of the board with a Muse Vessel, Dragon, Demon Fire, and Remand removed from the game. Tiago has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 land, including 2 annexed lands and a Signet.
So no damage sources on either side, but Tiago's annexing lands. Gabe is building up.
And the Nassif is down to two Urza's pieces.
And Tiago Chan just keeps busting up Gabe's Urzatron with his annexes. Pretty clever sideboard plan.
So speaking of sideboard plans, what do we think Ogura is going to do here? From his sideboard, I see a 4th Wrath of God that probably is going to come in. 3rd Faith's Fetters. Does he bring in the 2 Spell Snares and a Remove Soul as well?
Sounds reasonable.
More than likely. Probably takes out the Fairy.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem terribly exciting. He also has 2 Cop Reds that he's going to want in his deck. Probably takes out Mystical Teachings, and probably takes out 2 Tidings. Let's take a look at what we could see from Lovett. Again, Ronom Unicorn seems like an excellent choice for him.
Yeah, I would get the Wildfire Emissaries out.
Get the Wildfire Emissaries out. He's got 2 Chiroclasms and 4 Stone Rains. I imagine he's going to try to get. All of those cards in. Possibly take out Icatian Javelineers and Wildfire Emissaries. So he'll have 3 answers in his deck to a COP Red. COP Red won't be.
So Mizgy T has a pretty good point in the forums talking about the Mahara. Was it a mistake? Was it a mistake? I didn't get a really good look at Mahara's hand before the crucial turn started. Mizgy believes that there was no Dragonstorm, that he actually had to cast the Sleight of Hand because he was still digging for the Dragonstorm he needed.
No, that wasn't the mistake.
Right, casting the ritual.
Casting the ritual and not having the other ritual.
The thing is, though, if Mizgy is right and the Dragonstorm was not there, then Mahara actually made all the right plays. Maybe
sure. We're not saying the mistake was thinking he had 9 mana at the end of that sequence when he starts with the Rite of Flame.
Yeah, I think he miscounted when he went for it, but he was going to have to hit the 2-outer to have a chance anyway.
Absolutely.
That is assuming the Dragonstorm was not there before the Sleight.
Right.
John Becker on the floor says he thought the Dragonstorm was already there.
Okay.
So, I mean, we'll have the archives. You guys can go back and look at it, and I'm sure there's probably a shot of Mahara's hand to find out.
Right. I don't
how
think
bad the mistake was.
I wasn't even questioning whether or not the Sleight was the mistake. I think
he was just casting the ritual.
I think
and
it was right. It's the idea of ritual and miscounting.
Yeah, but there's a difference between miscounting your mana and thinking you've got it when in fact you need more.
It's certainly a much worse mistake.
Throwing it away by trying to get one extra storm.
It's a much worse mistake. Yeah, absolutely.
The Japanese have more style than the rest of the entire Pro Tour combined, says Dr. Sung. I'm a stylist, I know. The scarf is awesome. I did like Katsu's scarf. He was clearly the best dressed member of this top 8.
He should certainly market that scarf. He should sell branded Katsumori scarves.
I like it. Tsuyoshi Fuchida was wearing a scarf when he made his first top 8.
Yes.
There's a guy who's still playing. I mean, Tsuyoshi put up 10th place? I know it was top 16 somewhere. Tsuyoshi, he was close. 1 point off the top 8. I believe he finished 10th.
I've got the standings right here, and Tsuyoshi Fujita, 10th.
Wow.
And that's a virtual top 8. You know what we like. Oh no, it's not.
He's a point off.
It's a point off. So Shaheen Sarani, that was.
Yeah, he was the one who the virtual top 8 missed on tiebreakers.
Mike Flores and I have been talking about Sarani for the last couple of years. He's been
an East Coast PTQ player.
He's one of our favorite Magic players. He always seems to win extended.
No matter how blue-white control.
Blue-white control with rewind. I'm sure both Mike and I have talked about him in this very booth.
Yep.
Numerous times. It was so exciting to see him have a big breakout event. He came within tiebreakers of making the top 8.
Yeah, he took the gamble. He took a draw in the last round, believing it gave him about a 75% chance at top 8. He didn't like his matchup, and he knew that if one result went his way, then the tiebreakers didn't matter. And then even if it was Ogura who was paired down, even if Ogura won, then he could still win the tiebreakers. It was effectively a tie on tiebreakers going into the last round, so a coin flip there.
But by the way, I mean, look at 14th place in the standings.
Raphael Levy.
The clear highest finish by any Hall of Famer in the 2 years now of in the 2 classes of the Hall of Fame.
Very impressive. Levy is another guy from France. Really felt like this Worlds was a very important tournament. This was one where he really wanted to do well at this particular tournament.
14th place is a tremendous weekend.
Great. And you know what? It's actually perfect for Raphael's career, right? It's fitting that he got 14th place. He didn't get to top 8. He never gets to top 8. He just quietly, consistently puts up high money finish for 40, 50, 60 Pro Tours.
We can lean over and see him in the next booth.
He's doing the commentary in French.
Although he might have to leave and go play in the top 8 of the Two-Headed Giant.
Nicholas Levette leads with a Savannah Lion and a Knight of the Holy Nimbus. Ryo Ogura has played a Signet, setting up. Was this another? Oh, Nick is the one with the mulligans this time. Interesting. Meanwhile, on the Gabriel Nassif Thiago Chan match, sounds like there was a pretty cool play back there. What happened, John Becker?
Yeah, check this out. Nassif has two Urza's parts and one colored mana. He had a remand under a Muse Vessel. Thiago put Sacred Mesa on the stack. So Nassif used Muse Vessel to remand Sacred Mesa, and Thiago remanded his own remand back to his hand.
Wow.
Thus getting the remand back and resolving the Sacred Mesa.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know that Nassif had much choice, but it was a pretty cool play.
That's really
Does
exciting.
Nassif have a disenchant? I mean,
He just tried a disenchant, and it was remanded back to his hand. And he
Okay.
can only try it once a turn because he only has a single Hallowed Fountain on the board for colored mana.
interesting.
Remand is the only control element in
Yeah, Thiago
Thiago's
Chan.
control deck.
Right. No true hard counters. But Thiago Chan up 2-1 and has Sacred Mesa in play. Can he actually win that match? That'd be mind-boggling. Like, I heard people saying, oh, maybe it'll be 3-1, thinking that Chan could stumble and, luck into one game. But not 3.
So Faith's Fetters has just undone a couple of Lovett's turns.
Yep. Shuts down the Knight and undoes a couple of Savannah Lion hits.
And there's
There's
a
the
COP
Cop Red, but not super relevant to the Savannah Lions.
Yeah, you want to get that down now.
Sure.
You know, you'd like to Wrath with 5 mana and be able to fight off a Char. So what does this do for Thiago's reputation if he wins this match in the quarterfinal?
Yeah, we talked about it in the day 3 wrap-up. There's 2 guys in this top 8 who really had the opportunity to establish themselves as, among the very best players in the game. Both Paulo and Thiago sort of had the kind of year, they're clearly good, but, are they the second tier or are they the true superstars of the game right now? Paulo lost his match. I mean, time will tell if he's one of the true greats or whether he's, merely really, really good. Thiago's still got the opportunity. I mean, taking out Nassif in Paris in an unwinnable matchup.
Former Player of the Year, Gabriel Nassif.
Right.
7-time Pro Tour top 8 competitor, Gabriel Nassif. I mean,
Seven's a lot.
2 reputations are made there also. I mean, Karsten's reputation is also, already just a phenomenal reputation, but he continues to reinforce that as one of the great thinkers about this game, designing this deck and helping Thiago prepare for this. Working on his Resident Genius campaign for this year's Invitational. Sorry, Mike, I'm sorry.
Sounds like Nassif did manage to get the disenchant finally resolved on that Sacred Mesa.
He will eventually get anything he wants to resolve.
Right. It's really the mana problems. I mean, that's Thiago's plan. He's on the Annex plan. He's trying to pinch Gabe on mana.
Yeah, the Annex
Nassif's
plan,
deck
the Stone Rain
obviously
plan
really, really greedy. Like, Nassif's deck doesn't work without a ton of mana. That's why he took a deck that didn't really work, added in the Urzatron so that it would have enough mana to fuel it. But, I mean, you start stealing his land and the whole deck crumbles.
There's a Stone Rain from Levitt. So Levitt went with the red version of the Annex plan, the Stone Rains, harkening back to John Finkel's sideboard Stone Rains from Worlds, was it?
Columbus.
Where he sideboarded in Stone Rains versus
Mana Leak.
counterpost decks.
Ryu defends his Urzatron, or at least his piece of the Urzatron.
What's he going to do, pay? What's he looking at?
Takes a point off Adakar waste, though, right? Oh, he has an extra mana, and he's trying to sink it into Cop Red. He's got the Urzatron, so Mana Leak generated an extra mana. There's no red source, though. With no red source available, I think Ryu takes a point of mana
Doesn't
burn
it prevent
here.
the next?
It has to be from a source.
Oh.
So you have to be able to point to a red source, and there wasn't one.
Can't point to the Stone Rain, huh?
I was thinking the same thing. A red source.
Lovett knows how it works. He seemed pretty clear there. Ooh, Triskelovus.
Yeah, Ryu's Urzatron online. Able to bust out the big artifact creature. That's a problem for Nick, yeah?
Yeah.
There go his Savannah Lions. Nick's still trying to get a ruling on the Cop Red. I guess he must not have been a point of mana burn there, or Nick wouldn't still be complaining, right?
Correct.
They did not call mana burn, but they're checking the wording right now.
I was under the impression you could just sink it in. Sounds like they're going to go get the head judge. Okay.
Now, apparently you can sink mana in.
Sure.
You have to choose a red source, not target one.
Right. Choose
So
a red source upon resolution.
If there's no red source, you already spent the mana.
Well, it seems pretty
All right, let's go down to John Becker, get an update on the Nassif Chan match. What's going on down there?
It looks like Nassif may be starting to pull out of this. He pulled a second disenchant, managed to disenchant the Annex and the third Urza piece to crank up his mana. And so now he's back online with double white and an Urzatron.
Double white and an Urzatron. Nassif presumably has a martyr by now?
Yeah, he disenchant Stone Rain's the Stone Rain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, the longer that game goes, the more it favors Nassif.
Definitely.
We're still waiting on a...
Oh, ruling at the back table as well? Same ruling, apparently. Cop red and mana burn off of Urzatrons. Head Judge Yap Brower getting a workout. Got the red and black stripes back there. Making a call.
We got it.
Yap Brower looks on as you see Nassif on the left and a girl on the right.
You can think of that. And you guys can continue.
He said you can sink the mana?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I'm not... Is there a way for Lovett to get out of this? He doesn't have disenchants. He has Ronan Unicorn, so he has no...
Is Triskelivus just game?
I think it's just...
I mean, he's got to burn over the top, but it's pretty tough to do through a cop red.
Yeah, exactly.
He needs Ronan Unicorn for the cop and then throw a bunch of burn over the top, but he mulliganed this game, so I'd be surprised if he can stitch that together.
29. 29.
And again, even if he deals with the Triskelivus, he's still got to deal with the Pentavite tokens.
Right.
Or Triskavite tokens, or Trisket tokens, or... All right, he's making a play. I think going to try another Stone Rain, maybe.
Triskelivite tokens.
Triskelivite. Oh, charge the Triskelivite.
All right.
Triskelivus.
2 tokens come off?
And does it cost mana to activate those tokens?
No, it's just mana to take them off. We actually flipped back and forth on that when the card was in development. For a while, they came off for free, but it was a mana to sack them. Which, I mean, the card was more powerful in that version. Too powerful, in fact.
And
So we switched to this version.
And they deal 2 damage when you sacrifice them, or
1 damage.
1 damage, okay.
They're little Mog fanatics. I guess flying Mog fanatics.
Yeah. Really good Mog fanatics. Colorless, flying Mog fanatics.
And they're attacking.
I mean, he can effectively wrath the team. Oh, my. There's
Another Triskelivus.
Yep.
Yeah. Things not looking great for Nick Levette here.
Yeah, this is... I don't see... I don't really see what he could do. We have some actual tokens there.
Couple of
Maybe
tokens to represent those flyers.
Mirror tokens, I think those are.
Light 9, 16.
How do you feel about this matchup in general? You picked Levette to win it.
I
like Levette?
I do like Levette.
Even though not in this game?
I do. I don't like him in this game at all.
Right.
But I like his chances. I like the ability of his deck to lay out some early threats and then to follow up with the Stone Rains and Chiroclasms to disrupt
Mm-hmm.
Rio's either colored mana or Tron, depending on what the best course of action is there. So, two Savannah Lions killed there. What do we got? And then Volcanic Hammer, the Triskelivis. Of course, deciding whether he wants to remove tokens, I guess, or possibly remand. If he remands and Lovett has another red source, then he just loses the Triskelivis. No, he doesn't even want the tokens. He just lets it go. He'd rather have the mana out.
Wow.
Thoroughly interesting play.
Mm-hmm.
He's at 9, though. I mean, he seems like he has a little room to maneuver there.
15.
Seems like he had a little wiggle room. There's not that much Lovett can do from here.
Guess he's worried about Ronan Unicorn
Sure,
trying to defend the Cop Red.
sure.
Not off a Signet, he can't.
We see.
Yeah, I think he may have been in trouble. He had Adakar waste Signet, so he couldn't even make one token without tapping both mana. He's got a Spell Snare in his hand, but
Okay.
because he had the Signet untapped. In fact, is that wrong? Was he supposed to use the Signet to cast? No, the way the Urzatron pieces worked out, it didn't work. There's Rift Bolt. Suspended.
Just going to kill that token.
Yeah, I think so. Makes sense. Versus the Cop Red, that's the best he's going to get out of it.
White 9.
So Nickelvet has actually managed to plow through 2 different copies of Triskelivis.
Right.
I'm actually impressed.
And now he's cleared them both.
Yeah.
There's only one more Triskelivis in the deck.
And there's also Academy Ruins, right?
Yes, there is Academy Ruins.
That's the victory condition. 3 Triskelivis and an Academy
We're
Ruins.
trying not to talk about the Academy Ruins too much. You know, the Doomsday scenario.
Yeah, if we get Nassif versus Ogura in the finals, then potentially the game can go infinite.
It's possible that we could have matches that never, ever end.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually only
That'll be
half
fun
kidding.
for the B team.
I'm actually only half kidding. I find some of the sort of watching some of those decisions about constructed sort of play out is actually very interesting to me.
And rips through two
Couple Ruins of
two
Trocaire.
couple ruins.
What
That's
got
such an
Spellsnare?
elegant card.
Ruins of Trocaire?
Yeah, I think that card's great. Certainly one of the big hits out of the set.
Flagstones of Trocaire.
Flagstones. Did you guys know that card was going to be as big as it's been?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's
Really, fetch lands you knew? You knew fetch land. Essentially, a fetch land would be good.
shockingly built-in defense against Wildfire et al. And the ability to just go get dual lands. Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely one of the sort of chase rares from the set right now.
Is there a victory condition other than the 3 Triskelivises in Trisketron?
Oh, we've got 2 Teferis.
Oh, there's 2 Teferis, okay. But he may or may not still have those.
He's got the Academy Ruins, so I mean, he'll definitely ultimately get the Triscuits back. He's got a Draining Welk after sideboard, but I doubt that's coming
Not in this matchup, no way.
And in more important
bought
news,
himself a
we have a
ton of
little
turns.
air in this room all of a sudden.
Is that right? Oh, that is air conditioning.
I felt my shirt unstick from my back, so I knew. There's the mighty Acacian Javelineer, but he stayed in. And the Javelineer is actually a very interesting card in this matchup. Like I said, it sneaks past the Cop Red and sneaks in under one of the few threats in the deck, other than Savannah Lions, that sneaks in under Spell Snare.
Sure.
And is it going to get eaten by Teferi? That seems to be its fate this weekend.
Oh. There is Teferi. Yum. Down goes Javelineer, and hello victory condition.
Well, it's got a point on it, so we...
You expect
lightning
it to die?
hits. I expect it to die. No, Mr. Bond.
Nope. All right.
Light 716.
The Rotom Unicorns are being quite pesky for Lovett this game. Unless one of those is what got spell snared. I can't see the graveyard.
You're correct, Bob.
Big mitt full of Wrath of Gods for Agora. Oh, Wildfire Emissary stayed in.
Interesting.
Another win condition, Urza's Factory.
Oh, Urza's Factory, sure.
Right.
There's compulsive research. All right. Turns out he left him in against Mori all the games, too. Yet another way, if Circle of Protection was only targeted. I've got a nice profile of Ryogura in the message board thread from Japanelli. Apparently he has a tendency to wear Japanese pop idol merchandise. His band of choice to support is Morning Museum, which is like Menudo in that the lineup keeps changing. He's wearing an Idol t-shirt today. Often likes to play with a Maki Goto banner hanging behind his chair, but maybe he left the banner at home.
So, also you may remember Agora from a fashion tidbit of Agora from Worlds in 2004. He wore
a prototype of Jin Okamoto.
He won Jin Okamoto's Tiger shirt from the 2003 Worlds. And he's also good friends with Osawa. He was cheering Osawa on while he toured Prague. He was there in spirit.
Yep.
But he's good friends with Osawa.
I'm glad somebody in the forums got my searching for Bobby Fischer reference. Suppose Cephas Brown appreciated it, even if no one else did. And the Seth match versus Tiago Chan, their quarterfinal match is still going on, and they are now 90 seconds away from the 2-hour mark.
Wow.
It's actually not that bad, given they're in Game 4. I heard some estimate that had each game taking an hour.
Right.
A real battle of wills. We knew that was going to be a sort of a marathon struggle, and
we may have even planned for it.
We did indeed start the semifinal match between Ryo Ogura and Nick Levette. Those guys are already playing in the semis. Levette leads one game apiece. Seems to be in trouble here in Game 2. Looks like Ryo Ogura is going to even this at a game apiece. Meanwhile, Makihito Mahara is waiting in the semifinals for the winner of the marathon between Tiago Chan and Gabe Nassif. Chan leads that 2-1 in a remarkable upset. Sounds like Nassif has got Game 4 under control, though.
Now we have a shot of... those are tokens. I thought...
Martyr and Proclamation running for Nassif. Say again?
There's a shot on one of the other monitors. I thought it was the two decks. I thought it was showing how deep Agora had dug into his deck, but it's just his stack of tokens sleeve tokens that he brought to the match.
Oh, we're not getting to see the Japanese Teen Queen tokens. Replace them with more brand proper zombies instead.
Yes.
It's too bad, really.
He's got.
Oh, those are the zombie tokens.
Yeah, he's got 4 zombie tokens in play.
There.
I guess factory workers.
Assembly workers.
Assembly workers.
We did not print out the assembly worker tokens, turns out.
Yet. He's eating one a turn.
Wildfire Emissary, yeah, it's eating an assembly worker every turn. I guess that's good.
But Lovett's eating 6 a turn.
Say again, John? I think there's a Pegasus bias. No assembly workers, but plenty of Pegasus.
There's a Faith's Fetters in Agora's hand that might hit the lion that Lovett just played. I mean, basically, once a Tron deck gets this much mana and has cards in hand, it's hard to feel like you have any chance of winning. I mean, he's tapping 4 lands to make a guy every turn.
Yep. Meanwhile, on the back table, you've also got a match that seems to be favoring one player. Gab Nassif seems to have that under control, but Tiago just got his second Sacred Mesa to resolve, so Tiago not ready to give that one up. Nassif's got Proclamation and Martyr, but Chan knows the one way he can actually deal enough damage through that combo is with Sacred Mesa. Oh, Nassif just got a Faith's Fetters to resolve on the Sacred Mesa. That's cute.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, that Faith's Fetters is also his example to his answer to Academy Ruins.
Oh,
that's how
wonderful.
He wins.
Okay.
He keeps the potential final matchup from going infinite.
Oh, so that game
Faith's Fetters does a lot.
Faith's Fetters is just a great card. A lot of people, miss that you can put it on lands. You can just put it on a land, on a regular land, sometimes just to gain 4.
Right.
To unchar, as it were.
Meanwhile, the match we are watching, Ryu Agura's at 10. Nick Levette is down to 4. Finally came up with a Stone Rain to deal with that Urza's Factory, but pretty much over here. Ryu Agura gained control, got out of Cop Red, managed to get rid of all the white weenies that Nick Levette's Boros deck could deliver up. Full on Urzatron. And yeah, there's game number 2, and Ryu Agura has evened it at a game apiece. Those guys, instead of paying best 3 out of 5, now it's all down to best 2 out of 3. Can we look in on the back table while they shuffle? Bruce? So we'll try to get another check-in on the match between Gabe Nassif and Tiago Chan. Oh, did that one scoop it up too? Tiago gave up? Oh, as a response to that Faith's Fetters, it looks like Tiago Chan scooped him up, realized with both his Sacred Mesas down, he was cold. So that one is going to game number 5. Nassif comes back, evens it up.
Cold with a K?
Cold with a K. I grew up around the Speds, right? You can use it. Or is there a point where you're old enough you're just not allowed to use Speds?
I don't know. John still uses cold all the time, so it's one of his favorite words. It's like, John's your wife going to let you come to the PTQ? No, I'm cold. Freezing, actually.
Freezing. Yeah. Gabe Nassif looking a little happier now. He's not trailing in the match anymore.
Show manager Renee Raub is grinning that we're on to game 5. It's a 2-hour plus match is really ahead of
predictions. Yes, this could have been much worse. We were certainly prepared.
We haven't exceeded 50 Sacred Pegasus tokens, and we haven't gone over the 3-hour mark yet.
It's funny, the only slow play warning in the top 8 went to the Dragonstorm deck. Mahara on the crucial turn.
Well, no one is ever going to accuse Nassif of slow play.
No, definitely not.
He is he's very brisk, very very nimble mind, makes his decisions.
Yeah, no, a number of people were comparing this top 8 to the one in Berlin, where there were some Mirari's Wake Mirror matches that drug on a little bit. But I mean, the thing in Berlin, the players were just playing slow. You could just yell at them and give them warnings, so that's not what's going on here. This feels very different to me in that, Nassif's deck just does take that many turns. He's playing it perfectly briskly, and I mean, it's interesting Magic. It just takes a while for those scenarios to play themselves out.
You have a deck that revolves around a 7-mana recursion. So that's, those games are going to go deep versus a deck that's looking to either make enough Pegasus tokens to kill you or Demon Fire you out. So both of those decks are decks that have game plans that, probably don't really kick in until about halfway through the deck. Those are game plans where you're 20, 24 cards into your deck before you are going to realistically be able to win a game. So it's not a matter of people just agonizing over difficult decisions for a really long time. And also the matches in Berlin were virtual mirror matches.
Right.
So it was very complicated. Each wake that was actually a somewhat painful experience as someone who was listening to that event and covering.
Those out of the that's our camera there.
So we're
really on the ball spotter for this too. We've got Duncan's a really good spotter. We have the Ryu Agura just decided he really needed to use the restroom, and the spotter was smart enough to Send the message. Please turn off his mic. I've heard one
Nice
live
job, Duncan.
mic bathroom scenario in my coverage life,
Have you really?
and that was enough. Yes.
Who was it?
It was Trevor Blackwell.
Really?
U.S. Nationals, Trevor Blackwell. You just hear him going into the bathroom, and the next thing I do is taking off my headset and throwing it to the table.
Oh my god! It wasn't like Austin Powers 1 scene, is it?
I don't know. I took off the headset. I wasn't going to listen.
Who's number 1? So,
Yeah, just keep everybody updated on what's going on. We are watching 2 matches right now. We're watching the semifinal match between Ryo Ogura and Nick Lovett. That match is tied at 1 game apiece, best 3 out of 5, to find out which one of those 2 players will be competing for the world title this afternoon. Meanwhile, we're also watching the quarterfinal match between Tiago Chan and Gabriel Nassif. That is tied at 2 games apiece. Those 2 players, one of them, they got 1 game left to figure out who takes on Makihito Mahara in the other semifinal.
playing Dragonstorm.
Mahara's Dragonstorm deck is waiting for the winner. Chan has a blue-white-red control deck. Nassif has a white, sort of mono-white-ish Martyr of Sands, Proclamation of Rebirth, Urzatron deck.
We were calling it Martyrtron.
Martyrtrons, it seems like a fine name.
Also,
for
just while we're updating people, I just wanted to give a little update on the slow roll contest of the Duchies. So we talked about this, where Sudden Shock is sort of the perfect foolproof card to slow roll, and the players, all the Dutch players, were going to have a contest to see who could roll off the just sort of the most outrageous slow roll in the tournament. And I'm sad to say that all the Dutch players are way too nice.
Oh, they couldn't do it?
They could not do it. Frank Carson almost had an opportunity to do it, but had to actually cast a Sudden Shock first to get Threshold for the Barbarian Ring, and then everyone else who had an opportunity to slow roll a Sudden Shock just didn't have the heart to do it, and was just like, I've got the Sudden Shock, and the game's over. As soon as they could. So that was a little disappointing. The best slow roll apparently came in playtesting,
Okay.
which was Jeroen Remy versus Frank
Oh,
Karsten.
I heard this. This is awesome.
And they knew, you know, in playtesting that became one of their goals, right? To get
They were
the-
practicing
They
the
were
slow
practicing the slow roll, and they're playing, and you know, Remy's playing Rock obviously, and he Cabal therapies. He's at 2,
Right.
and he Cabal therapies Frank Karsten, kind of wincing. Karsten's like, yeah, okay, go ahead, name a card. Remy's like, well, it can't be Sudden Shock, so he named
He would've
something
ki- yeah,
else.
would've killed me as
And then
response.
Karsten is like, ha ha, Sudden Shock.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, well, we're underway here.
Yes, Nick Levette leads with a Savannah Lion. Ryu plays that comes into play tap land. I know you guys are looking at Tiago Chan. He's now... Sure. Tiago Chan is waiting for Gabriel Nassif, who also took the opportunity to go to the restroom. Levette plays a turn 2 Saltari Priest.
Wow. Just, you get in so much action early. You know, especially on the play. Look at how different this game is on the play versus on the draw.
Sure. Signet from Ogura.
You know, Mana Leak saves maybe
Ton of
6,
damage.
8 damage, depending on how this plays out. Depending on whether or not he has the turn 3 Wrath of God.
Lovett sends 4 points into the red zone.
He doesn't.
Do we see a Wrath of God in Ryu's hand?
It doesn't look like he has it.
No, I see a couple Triskelevises. Volcanic Hammer straight to your dome, says Nick Lovett.
Tap out against me, will you?
All he did was play a Signet. What else is he going to do on turn 2? Ryu draws Compulsive Research. Yeah, I do not see Wrath of God. Does he have another land? Is this like land Signet Research? Tap out? I see Mana Leak, Triskelevis, land.
If you're going to
Yeah, and a
compulsive
Signet.
research, you have to play Land Signet.
I think I go land Signet Research and then just
Hope for the best.
hold on to my chair and hope that I'm able to untap alive. What else is he going to do? I mean, his hand is Triskelevis. He's got no action. Yeah, there's the Signet.
There's the Academy
Here
Ruins.
comes Academy Ruins.
Academy Ruins is an interesting card also, showing up as a one of. It's sort of like the Aboro of this block. We had a Locket deck with Phyrexian Ironfoot and Snow Engine, and we had one 1 Academy Ruins, and
Okay.
you block with, you lose your Iron
Locket's
Foot.
a card I heard people talking about, but it didn't do anything, right? Did anybody show up playing a Locket?
Max Brack was playing a Locket deck.
Okay,
Like
very
two
slowly.
Germans playing a deck we dubbed Locksack,
Okay.
which was it was a Walk the Eons Locket deck
Interesting.
that recursed Walk the Eons with Dance
right.
Blessing.
Agura taps out for that compulsive
Sure.
research. Holds on to his chair. Lovett attacks him for 4 down to 7.
What's the best card Lovett can have here?
Is it Javelineers? Not bad.
Seems fine.
Wrath or no? Ryu Agura needs to play Wrath of God right now if he wants to win this game 3. Did he find it off
He
compulsive
does
research?
not have
Does
it.
not look like it.
Can he remand something of his own and possibly
2, 3,
get
4,
it?
5.
And
Can he
have
get up
enough
to
mana?
Triskelivus? He's only got 1
Triskelivus
Tron piece in play.
He's one
He
off.
just has to say go.
Goes to
He's
1
just
here.
looking at 5 damage, dropping himself to 2. And then what's his plan? I mean, he's tap out. He needs a 3rd Tron piece. Then he can play Triskelivus, pulling off enough tokens to not die. He's got a remand in his hand, so he's actually, I think, hoping that Nick does something. Give me something to remand, and then I got to come up with either a Wrath or the missing Tron piece for Triskelivus.
But I mean, Nick can happily just attack here,
Mhm.
sit back, presumably on a Helix or a Char or
No,
something.
it would totally be a mistake for Nick to play a spell here. He should just attack for 5.
Is he worried about? Has he got the Ferry on the brain here?
Oh, he might. Yeah, maybe actually leave the Javelineer back. Make sure it gets in its one way or the other.
No, everyone got in. So Agora's at 2. Just maybe suspend a Rift Bolt here.
Oh, that would work. That's reasonable.
We've been cut off from our air.
Yeah, Nick's trying to say you can't cast a spell here. You've got to fear remand. Ogura's clearly in trouble.
Nope, he's going to attempt a Stone Rain.
Huh.
Stone Rain on his 1 white source, or no, 2nd white source.
Clearly gets remanded, right? What's Ryu thinking about?
I can't imagine what he's thinking about here. He has to. Oh, I guess he's worried about him playing another land. No, he played the 3rd land this turn.
Yep.
So he doesn't have another land drop. I mean, you just remanded. It's just cycling.
He's just making him think.
Oh, I guess he's thinking about mana leaking it instead, for some reason. And then not having to fight it later. Maybe the possibility of not having to fight it later.
He needs a card. Drew his Signet. That doesn't help. 1 more draw phase.
1 more top deck.
Is that the right Tron piece?
That is.
Is that the missing
That
piece?
certainly looks.
Full Tron or no?
Certainly looks
Yeah.
like the full Tron.
That was the full Tron piece. So that remand dug him the 1 card deeper he needed. Ryu Ogura's dead if Lovett just passes the turn. But instead, he's got Triskelivus in play,
He's got to kill the. I think he's got to kill Javelineers right now.
and he's going to have to kill Priest. Yeah, you can't let Javelineers untap. There's just no reason to.
There's no reason not to kill. Well, I guess you don't want to kill all 3, but.
I mean, you could block the Lion.
Right.
And then it lets him leave up 2 mana. Yeah, he's supposed to pull 2 mana, kill the Priest, kill the Javelineer.
He's still not in a very good position.
I mean, he's stable.
Yes.
He's just,
So more or
he's
less
on
stable.
2.
Right, he has a mana leak.
God, that Stone Rain. I mean, if Nick loses this game, it's on the Stone Rain. Like, the game is over right now, and Nick is up 2-1 if he just shifts the turn instead of walking into a remand.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Fish Crick is wondering what happened to Kai Buddha. What did he play in Standard? The answer is Dragonstorm.
Dragonstorm.
Yeah. He said he was just a couple of draws away from putting up like a 4-2, 5-1 finish.
Sure.
Wound up, I think, 2-4. One of those was a concession to a friend, though, who was trying to level up in the Players Club. So, handed one match to a friend, 2-3 in the others. Just couldn't quite. I mean, Dragonstorm's kind of inconsistent. He was sort of a turn off here, a mana off there.
Right. He may have made the top 8 of the two-headed giant event with Eddie Muka. Apparently, Kai's a sort of curmudgeonly chap.
Fair.
Not necessarily
Totally fair.
Very patient Magic player, but not a very patient individual with.
Yeah.
And playing with an 11-year-old is apparently quite the challenge. 11-year-olds want to tap their mana and play their spells all the time, and it was hopefully Eddie learned some nice lessons from Kai. Read about that story in yesterday's blog. That was a great event where they raffled off opportunities.
Yeah, everybody who went gunslinging got the chance to play on a two-headed giant team with some name pros. Raphael Levy, Kai Buddha. All right, so Levette lost his Priest, lost his Javelineer. He's down to just the Savannah line now. Does have his opponent on 2, and with just 2 mana. I haven't got a good look at Levette's hand to see how much burn's sitting in there. We know there's a Stone Rain. That got remanded last turn. Now here's the Stone Rain again. He's going to try to break up the Tron.
That's going to get mana leaked. Or remanded.
Yep. Gets remanded.
Get a look at Lovett's hand there. What was that last card? Is that 3 Stone Rains he's holding?
Yeah, he didn't get to 3 mana for quite a while. Oh, Faith's Fetters. 4 huge points of life.
That pen got slammed down. Did you see that?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, Lovett's face is just disgusted.
Yeah.
He
and
had
Triskelvis
this game,
is on the
and
offense
he
now.
may still have this game.
It's still tight, but it is slipping.
Now he needs 2 burn spells, and Agora has another. Not only does Agora have another Triskelvis, but he's got the Academy Ruins. Right? And he's got the mana where he could actually start to get something going here. Where he makes a token, shoots the last token at the Triskelvis, puts it in his graveyard, flips it on top, draws it, and builds up a critical mass of sort of a really cumbersome Sacred Mesa.
Yeah, there's Lovett's hand. I see Lightning Helix. I see Stone Rain. See Javelineers.
A Wildfire Emissary, I believe.
Rotom Unicorn.
No Wildfire Emissary.
Knight of the Holy Nimbus. Just a 1 burn spell?
Just the 1 burn spell.
Yeah, 2 Stone Rains, Javelineer, Knight, Unicorn, Helix. I don't like that hand's chances in this situation.
No. And he just doesn't have enough mana to do things he wants to do. Like, the Stone Rains might be great for baiting out counters, but he doesn't have any mana left to do anything else.
Right. Well, I mean, he has to just bait the counters out of his hand.
Right.
Right. I mean, I think you just keep pointing Stone Rains, try to bust up the Urzatron, keep the Triskelvis Academy Ruin shenanigans from going on for a couple of turns while you hopefully top deck burn. Right? That's the play.
Does some math. He's going to let it go.
Really?
He's going to let it go. He's not getting into that fight.
Griffin 839 is rooting for Tiago Chan because he doesn't want to play against Martyr at Friday Night Magic.
I'm sorry, Griffin. You are going to be playing against Martyr in Friday Night Magic. It was interesting. Andre Mueller had a similar Martyrtron deck that he came up independently.
Yeah.
And he ran.
There's another Triskelvis from Agora.
I guess he ran into issues of not having enough time to play Game 2.
Okay.
And he sideboarded in Stormherd.
Really?
Yeah.
Bizarre.
So, he's like, I'll get up to 40 life, I'll make 40 tokens, and I can win quickly. So if he lost game 1, he would bring in the Stormherds,
right?
So he would have enough time to sort of go beat down.
Wow. How are Gabe and Thiago doing?
Not a card I expected to see this weekend. Stormherd. And we still have a quarterfinal game going on the back table. Stone Rain keeps on trying.
Yep.
Boy, I bet he wishes those were pillages right about now. So, do you go for the Academy runes here? Do you go for the...
I buffed up the Tron. Oh, he's already done that, right?
He's already done that.
Yeah, Academy Ruins is next, right?
There's also a Urza's Factory, it looks like. Maybe you go for the Urza's Factory.
He goes for Academy Ruins.
Okay. And there's Flagstones.
Yeah, triggers both his flagstones. Thins the library a little bit.
But, he needs to get both. He needs to get 2 helixes or 2 3 damage burn spells to resolve. He's cleared through a pile of remands. Have we seen the mana leak is still hanging back there, right?
Yep.
Very tense. Ryo knows he's walking a razor's edge here.
Yeah,
even
just
though he
against
seems like
Boros.
he's taking control of the game.
He's scared. He doesn't realize how many sort of junky white creatures are clogging up Levitt's hand.
Right.
He's got to live in fear that it's burn spell, burn spell, burn spell.
Right. For all he knows, this is a handful of chars.
Right.
All right, make a bunch of tokens.
Securicon points out that the second semifinal match has suspend 3 hours.
we did suspend it.
Now, Ogura just reestablished the Tron.
This is
Smash is over. 6-8. This is pretty much the last turn, right?
yeah. This is it.
We're going to want to check in on the back table as soon as this ends, Bruce.
I don't think Lovett has a
I don't see
way
any way for
out
Levitt to
here.
win this.
Oh, he's hoping that maybe he can do something well. Maybe he's got 2 helixes and he's going to try. Well, I guess the first helix, if one of the helixes resolves, he'll go to 11. He has 2 helixes. And we know he has 1. Spell Snare. And
Yep, Helix gets spell snared. Ogura is going to attack for 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is the game, right? Yep, there's the game. Wow. So Ryu Ogura takes a 2-1 lead in that semifinal match. Let's go check on the battle. The marathon between Gabriel Nassif and Tiago Chan continues. Their quarterfinal match is in game number 5 right now. They've been at it for well over 2 hours, and they are pretty deep into game 5, and it looks like Nassif is in control. He's got a Martyr. He's got Proclamation of Rebirth. I think he's casting it once per turn, while Tiago does his best to build up damage sources.
1 more.
15 life a turn for Gabriel Nassif. He's got 5 white cards in his hand.
15
Life total is currently 88 to 24.
Now, 1 Storm Herd would have been phenomenal for Nassif here.
There's Gabriel Nassif sitting up, looking confident. He's in control. He is in his element. He's in his country. He's in his city. He's in the top 8 where he's been 7 times now, facing a very worthy competitor. Tiago Chan, clearly one of the real up-and-coming stars of Magic right now, but he has not up-and-come enough to catch Gabriel Nassif.
No, not Hat.
Yellow Hat, one of the best players in the game, arguably the 3rd best player in the history of the game, and the best who's really still playing actively.
Absolutely. Best active player. That's a really interesting point to make. First ballot Hall of Famer for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Doesn't come on the ballot for a couple more
He's
years
here 5.
now. Yeah.
He's here 5.
His Pro Tour debut.
It was,
Well, not his Pro Tour debut, actually. His breakout was 2001. But,
I think Lipswick Class was his first.
No, he was on 1 Pro Tour before Lipswick Class, I believe. I can check, actually.
I'm gonna take.
So Nassif's going to take 8 damage.
18.
Yeah, whatever.
He's got some Urza's Factory tokens beating him down. A couple of Court Hussars. Yep, that's 8.
End of your turn. Try to disenchant the annex.
Nassif disenchanting an annex. Wants his land back. This is the plan that Tiago Chan cooked up. He worked with Frank Karsten. He worked with the Ruel brothers. Did everything he could to find a way to win what looked like an unwinnable matchup. Came up with Annex. Out of the sideboard, you just break up the Urzatron, steal his colored mana. That plan has helped Tiago Chan win twice. But a deck with no hard counters, it's just really hard to bust up what Nassif's up to. Basically had to get lucky with the Annexes early. And
I mean, even if he had counters, it's hard to bust what Nassif's up to. The Proclamation of Rebirth is a forecast.
Sure.
So,
but I mean, if he could defend a Sacred Mesa
Sure,
or
sure,
defend,
absolutely.
stop those disenchants. The disenchants are just tearing them apart. They destroy Sacred Mesa. Destroying the Annex is going to give Nassif back his mana. I assume that's probably the full Tron coming back, or given that Nassif's picking a fight over it.
Yeah. So Nassif's Pro Tour debut was Chicago 2001,
Oh, okay.
where he finished 45th. It's a money finish. Is that My Fires? Is that
Yeah, I believe that's Kai's Chicago.
That's Kai Chicago. And then he is not on the Pro Tour for 4 Pro Tours, and then he's in
Oh,
Nice.
so he played one Pro Tour in year 5 and then came
Right,
back.
well, you needed a top 32 finish to requalify, right, at that point?
Yes.
So then he skips 4 Pro Tours, then he's in Nice, where he finishes 36th. Another constructed event, Nice.
No, that was limited.
That was limited. Then Osaka, 23rd.
Compulsive research for Nassif, trying to cement his control of this game, digging for the cards.
Yeah, I mean, look at his Pro Tours before he breaks out. 45th, 36th, 23rd, 66th, 38th.
And
then people hear about him when he finishes second in
Wow.
New York in 2002.
Yeah, that's impressive.
So this guy's had it going on right from the beginning.
Absolutely.
He's just been, and again, we pay a lot more attention to those types of finishes now than I think we did back then. I think we might have been more aware of him.
79 life, 79 to 24.
Like 79.
Yeah, Tiago working at Urza's factory, doing what he can. The factory does indeed give him, like the Sacred Mesa, it gives him the ability to potentially deal more damage than Gabe is gaining off the Martyr of Sands recursion.
The problem is I'm sure there's one Wrath of God in that pile of, you can undo a lot of hard work.
True.
That's a very interesting card I see him play over there. Is that an Ivory Mask from Tiago Chan?
Yes, it is.
So that means this game, I mean, obviously there's
He's not going to get decked by compulsive
He's not going to
research.
get decked by compulsive research, which is a very, very real possibility.
Sure. I mean, there's disenchants in Gabe's deck, but
He's had to use those.
relevant.
He's had to use those on the Sacred Mesas, no? He's had to use one.
How does he deck Gabe through the Chrono Savants, though? It's not like he can win a decking war and see if he can just skip turns with
That's
Chrono
true.
Savant. He can deck him by just literally not taking his own draw phases. And Nassif's used one disenchant this game, and it was on that Annex.
Meanwhile, it looks like Lovett's gotten off to another fast start with a first turn Magus and a second turn Soltari Priest. Is attempting to stick an Acacian Javelineers here on turn 3. She gets Spellburst, which is an interesting card we've seen sort of also hit the tournament scene this weekend.
A little bit. Nobody seems to have many, but a number of the
Nassif
Tron blue decks
Sure.
have one.
Sure.
Foreshadow, stack hits, game 15, and foreshadow again.
We've got double proclamation.
Oh, we're at
going
double
on.
proclamation for Nassif.
So
Yeah, I
Nassif's
heard
gaining-
foreshadow again. It's foresight, but it's probably
Forecast.
Forecast.
Yes.
It's probably foreshadow in French.
Probably 40 life. It's actually just
30.
30 at least. Because those proclamations are still in your hand.
I'm gonna copy. gonna copy the one I don't have into. I'm gonna copy a mine.
It's another interesting card this weekend, Vesuva.
Yeah.
Vesuva, it's an extra Urza piece. In Extended, I saw a number of people playing it in Cloud Post decks.
I did too.
As Cloud Posts 5 through 8.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of exciting mana, and you don't mind in the Cloud Post deck where I think it's really interesting. You don't mind having it come into play untapped because it boosts your other Cloud Posts.
Right.
So you still get some mana boost out of it, even though it comes into play tapped.
And the Nasif hit 100 again.
Block 1 stack.
Right. So we're
Block 1, sack,
5. So
gain 15, 2, 4, 6, take 10. Nasif climbing up 5 life there, plus he's been proclamationing twice.
well, he's gaining 15 on his upkeep
and then gaining 5 more.
and gaining 5 more on Tiago's attack step.
The 5 more is shrinking because of the factory.
But I assume we'll see a Wrath of God sooner or later.
Foreshadow stack for
Oh my gosh!
again 30.
Ugh.
Triple Proclamation of Rebirth.
Wow.
And this is what the other Snow White decks just can't do.
No. They never get enough mana. Not even close.
This is just, I think, a really remarkable innovation. And I think it's bad news for Griffin, because who doesn't want to gain 45 life a turn?
Coming soon to a Friday Night Magic near you?
Yes, absolutely. I think actually you're going to see the deck you're much more likely to see at a Friday Night Magic near you is the good color deck that Carson designed here for Tiago Chan. This is a deck people already like. It's already got a lot of fun cards. Like, it's got Lightning Angel, and it's got Demon Fire, and it's got Sacred Mesa. It's got a lot of answers. I think this is going to be a very, very popular deck in the standard metagame.
142 to 23.
That is just obscene. Do we have a Mercy roll?
I know Tiago has a lot of respect for the game. Didn't
I have 6 white cards now, so
I don't think there's any shame in scooping them up here at some point, though.
that's true.
I gotta say, this was we
Very
learn a lot about Tiago in losing.
True.
I'm assuming he loses. I don't want to, you don't want to be like the band getting on the field, and but I think we can strike up the band.
Certainly, if there's a comeback here from Tiago Chan, you'll see it coming from a long ways away. It'll take a while. He'll have time to get off the field.
Yeah. All right. Good.
Block. Stack, so I gain 4.
Block, gain, still turning a profit. Wow.
I gained 4.
182.
6, yeah.
6. We're up to 6. So that's 18. So that's what, 56 life a turn?
The math is hard.
No, it's more. So it's 30 plus 48 life a turn. 18 times 3.
36.
18 times 3 is 54.
54. I was right the first time.
36.
Math is very hard. As Barbie told us, math is hard.
Crack the 200 barrier.
Wow.
Yeah, make a guy.
If Tiago plays this out, we may actually see 1,000. Tiago is not mathematically beaten yet.
No, not at all. Well,
his odds are really, really tiny, but if he gets... He's building up tokens. There's a limit to the number of times Gabe can proclamation.
Yeah, but at some point, Gabe's gaining 60 life a turn.
Tiago can infinitely
even more than 6.
Tiago's ability to deal damage goes... He can deal 1,000 damage a turn with enough Mesa tokens and factories. Or assembly workers, right?
Plant Lightning Angel.
Oh, by the way...
Block 1 stack. 21.
Gabe has a Wrath of God in that hand, right?
Yes,
Second card from the right
looks
is a
like the
Wrath.
second card from the right is a Wrath. Nifty looking Portal Wrath. One of my favorites.
Crazy.
But I love the new Wrath.
So if you're Nasif, at what point do you actually reset the board?
I think once you're losing, once you're unprofitable, or maybe that you're going to have to discard a card.
Yeah, it comes down to he can spend 5 mana to gain 18 life, or he can spend 4 mana to gain that much. It's actually sort of profitable now. It's a question of how he wants to spend his mana, right?
Yep.
But I guess there's value to having the Wrath in hand.
Sure.
It's funny, Gabe is just leaving his hand face up. It's pretty friendly, right? I mean, Tiago is otherwise going to write down everything, and Gabe's just like, well, I'll just play face up. I don't want to make you memorize my hand and write it all down.
Memorize
Be
it.
friendly.
Memorize it.
He's
I mean, I think seeing the Wrath there, I would scoop at some point.
It's 2 more than Master.
not, I mean, mathematically, if he gets him to commit to the Wrath, and then he can build up again before Gabe draws another Wrath.
42. Draw.
All right. Clearly, if this wasn't Game 5 of the World Championships, Tiago would scoop.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, if I'm Tiago, I'm not scooping yet.
No, I
I would play it out. It's Game 5 of the World Championships. It's mathematically possible for him to still win this game.
it looks like we're going to Game 5 in the other semi-match.
Yeah, indeed.
We got,
Nick
we got
Lovett
from
took that
John.
Game 4. So Rio Ogura and Nick Lovett are headed to Game 5. Can you hold that game, John? Don't let him play 5.
I'm wondering.
We'll
from John
we'll
if
hold that Game 5 and make sure we get you guys coverage of that.
If that second turn Soltari Priest went all the way, I'm curious.
Went pretty much all the way, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Little help from the Savannah line at the end, but Rio Ogura never managed to sweep the board.
Another one. So
We've got a cadre of assembly workers. Oh
They're
no,
up
wait,
to
those
10.
are.
Yeah, there's the 10.
Yeah.
You needed another unit. Wow, I mean, 10 Sacred Mesa tokens you expect. 10 assembly workers?
10 assembly workers in a game that's not even close to being over. Again, Tiago's at 23.
Gabriel's at 341.
341.
Unbelievable.
You know what? It could also be. I mean, Tiago may have a plan to deck Nassif.
How does he get around Chrono Savant?
He can Demon Fire them out of the game.
Only if they get into play. Doesn't Nassif just discard them?
Well,
I mean, you skip a bunch of turns
I mean,
in a row.
until they're actually discarded, that may be the plan.
All right, Tiago extends. There's the handshake.
Okay.
Gabriel Nassif, congratulations. In Paris, in France, the French superstar is through to the semifinals. He wins the marathon, absolute test of wills against Tiago Chan. Tiago, hats off to him, pulled off 2 games, managed to get it to a 5th and deciding game, but Nassif's deck just too good in the matchup. Nassif just too good. Chan said, in playtesting, there were playtest partners that he could beat in this matchup. Gabriel Nassif, better than your average sparring partner.
Absolutely. And Tiago Chan, I mean, you just have to tip your hat to him.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just no one gave him a chance to really even win a game. It wasn't no one thought he could win. I mean, I talked to all the top players I spoke to said that this was going to go 3-0, at best 3-1 for Nassif. At best for Chan was a 3-1. That was the best he could hope for, was one game to keep it.
Yeah, I don't know how many people in the building could have gotten 2 games in that matchup.
By
the way, Space Stormy.
Hey, Space Stormy, what's going on, man?
Is he from your
He
forums?
is. He's from everybody's forums, but he posts on the top 8 forums. He posts on the Star City forums. He's plays in the New York area. Was I think Mike's first round opponent at New York State Championships.
Sit there and explain to your opponent why you think he can't win anymore.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And if he says no, let's play, I'm fine with it as well. I don't mind if you take 1 or 2 or 3 minutes to explain it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this, and going to do that. You know, and that's the chance.
Judge Yap. Judge Yap Brower trying to make sure, when the game's over, feel free to explain to your opponent why the game is over, Gabe. I don't necessarily need to see all of that.
I don't mind spending 2 minutes to maybe save half an hour.
That's fun.
It's the chronological equivalent of card advantage.
Time
2 for
advantage.
30.
That's what time advantage means. All
Yes.
these years we've been struggling to define time advantage. Finally, Yap Brower has done it for us.
2 minutes to save 30.
Yeah.
So Gabriel Nassif will be playing Makihito Mahara in the semifinals. That matchup seems like it's much more straightforward. I mean, we shouldn't see the Titanic 50-turn games. You've basically got a deck trying to gain life versus a combo deck trying to deal 20 by turn 4.
Trying to deal 20 and really not capable of
No, I mean
doing much more than 20.
Yeah, right. I mean, you can hard cast dragons and attack with them, but
I mean,
realistically,
you can do 20 with the dragons and then attack for 20 a turn. But I mean, we've seen a deck that can gain 20 a turn and has Wrath of God.
sure.
So.
But yeah, I mean, realistically, that game's going to get decided in 5 turns, 5-6
Yes.
turns.
If
Dragonstorm's either going to go off or it's not.
If there's a Wrath and Martyr in the opening hand for Gabriel Nassif, then the game is over. It's pretty much that simple.
Hi again.
Oh, hey.
Brian David Marshall, Randy Bueller, enjoying these World Championship top 8 matches. We are in the semifinals now. Rio Ogura and Nick Levette are about to play Game 5. We can see on our monitors that they're shuffling up right now.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Gab Nassif and Makihito Mahara are getting ready for game number 1. I know there was some debate. What was going to end first? The other semifinal match or Gabe's quarterfinal?
Lunch.
Well, we knew the semifinal was going to end. The other semi would end before lunch. But the winner is Gab Nassif. Got the job done in the quarters. He's through to the semis.
Does he get to carry any of that life over into his subsequent matches?
No.
No, that's really too bad.
Well,
He can make it up pretty quickly.
I think liking an unglued 4 card. Well, right, Mark Rosewater's writing that down somewhere.
I think that match is going to be a blowout
For Nassif?
for Nassif. I think
Yeah,
it's an utter blowout.
We'll see.
I mean, obviously, Dragonstorm can just storm into the combo and catch you with your pants down.
But he's got to do it 3 times.
But he's got to do it 3 times, and I don't see that
Right.
happening. Again, any first turn Martyr is probably game.
Oh, wow. He just wins with first turn
He
Martyr?
just wins on first turn Martyr with an untapped mana at any point.
All right. Well, we got some unfinished business before that.
Absolutely.
We've got Game 5 between Rio Ogura and Nick Levette, and we are going to take you there right now.
Okay.
Here we are. Rio Ogura has won 2 games. The Japanese player is piloting the Trisketron deck designed by Katsuhiro Mori. Let him go. And facing off against him is Welsh national team member Nick Levette. Love it?
I think it's Levette. I'm not sure.
Levette has not dropped a match he constructed all weekend. I believe he is 11-0-2. I know he ran the table on day 1. I believe he went 4-0-2 to clinch this top 8 seat on the extended day. And now here he sits. Can he win this last game? Can he get through to the finals of the World Championships? He's already earned himself a seat on the gravy train. Between the Welsh national team finish and his finish here, he is on the Pro Tour for a year. That's the trophy. That's the trophy he's playing for. Wow, there you get a good look at it. The Traveling Worlds trophy. He gets to take that trophy home. He gets his name engraved on the trophy. Shows up at every Pro Tour for all time. That is an awesome reward, and that's what these guys are playing for. That's what's at stake. Nick played a turn 1 Savannah Lion. That resolved and has gotten in for 2 damage.
No second land.
No second land. And his turn 2 Savannah Lion gets remanded. Ouch.
I always like that play where you don't play your second land.
Oh, of course.
You play your lion, they remand, you play your
Yeah, but
land.
you're supposed to then play the second land and replay the lion. No second land is not good news for Nick Levette. Levette had this match too. I mean, he in the game 3, we were watching both hands, and Rio Ogura had nothing. He was desperately trying to draw either a missing piece of the Urzatron to fire up Triskellivis or a Rapid God.
He needed the remand to complete the Tron.
He left remand, and Nick attacked him down to 2, went for Stone Rain, and that Stone Rain got remanded. Ryu needed the remand. Then his draw phase delivered up the missing element. If Nick had just shipped the turn and trusted in his monsters, not walked into remand, he would be through to the Pro Tour Finals. But he walked into the remand, and Rio Ogura managed to win a game that looked lost. Now it all comes down to this, 5th game, and now Nick's sitting with just 1 land, 1 lonely lion, while his opponent is already digging 3 lands and a compulsive research.
I have a feeling we're going to see 2 spells discarded here, just from the look on. That's not the look of someone who's going to pitch a land. Which also means that if he finds mana, he's probably got a hand full of gas. Which is
he needs mana though. I mean,
he needs mana. Absolutely.
If both players are mana screwed, you got to like the Boros deck's chances.
Right, but remember, he just needs to complete that Tron, and he goes bam right up to Triskellivis.
That's true.
All right, 1 Tron is the Triskellivis. Yeah, he's discarding 2 cards. He's going to ship the turn. but he's only going to take 2, not 4. You think about how different this game is if just one land for Nick here.
Yeah, it's huge. Discards Teferi and was that Spellsnare?
Looks
Yeah,
like
Teferi and Spellsnare. Nick untaps. Draws. Lion comes in for 2. Replays a Lion off that pain land.
And stays at 1 land. Yes or no?
Yeah, ships the turn.
My
Still no
gosh.
second land.
And that sounds like a Wrath of God to me. No, it's
Faith
Faith
Fetters.
Fetters. Oof.
Which I think might even be worse.
Almost worse.
I think it is worse.
Well, at least he gets 2 back this turn.
Right. But I mean, it cancels out the next 2 attack phases and
Yeah.
sets up a future Wrath.
Yeah.
Hip Hop Hip 25 says, "Is it just me, or does the Soggy Pickles deck seem really good against Martyrtron?"
I gotta tell you, the Pickles deck in general is fantastic against any decks that are very, very mana intensive. You have
Makes
a lot of
sense.
time. You have a lot of time to set up your Giga Drows.
What is the Soggy Pickles deck basically?
So Soggy Pickles is
It's Brine Elemental, right?
is
That's
Brine
where the
Elemental.
pickles come from.
Soggy Pickles is Gavin Verhey's sort of fine tuning of my Pickles deck.
Tidings from Ryo Ogura. Go ahead.
Really, that's another card I would have expected to see sided out in this matchup.
Looks fine right here. Draw 4, set
It
up.
looks fine when your opponent
My
has
opponent's
one
got
mana.
1 land and a couple Savannah lines.
Anyway, it's a Vesuvian Shapeshifter Brine Elemental lock. It's a one-sided stasis.
Oh, wow.
You get a face-up Brine Elemental, and you unmorph your Shapeshifter. It triggers the morph. It copies the morph trigger of when you unflip a Brine Elemental, and it keeps your opponent's permanents locked without any untap. And you set it up with a big Giga Drowse at the end of your opponent's turn.
Okay.
That's pretty exciting. I mean, and again, if the Tron deck gets out early and gains 100 life, I mean, you have a little bit of a battle. But I think it's a pretty good. I think it's actually pretty good against both of these decks, Trisket Tron and Mortartron. But love it's going alpha on Agura's rear here. You know, the Savannah Lions keep coming. You know, no Wrath. I mean, he's got to have a Wrath now, right? Suspend Rift Bolt. No, Magus with a scroll.
Doing what he can off 1 land.
That seems...
Ryu, though, I mean, when your opponent gets to tap out for Tidings, untap, and they're still on 13. Yeah, Nick knows. Doesn't like his chances.
Still no Wrath of God, though.
Now, a couple of Triskelevises in Ryu's hand, though.
They're going to be online shortly.
He seemed plenty good enough to get the job done against Savannah Line. He's sitting on a Mana Leak and, a Spell Burst.
Yeah, Spellburst is just phenomenal here. But, you know, if he doesn't get...
Five coming over.
Agura falls to 8.
Yep. It's interesting. Ogura could have played Triskelevis there, and he'd rather sit on the permission. He's willing to just take 5 more damage down to 8.
Could he have played Triskelevis? Does he have a completed Tron?
Oh, no, he's 1 mana short. My bad. Second land, finally from Nick Levette, now that his opponent is at 7. A little fist pump from the Welshman. Land 213. Saying, there's no problem staying up watching this. I've stayed up longer playing a Momir Premier event.
That's true. You know, the premier events have to have conditioned people to be ready for this long.
There's the Tron.
I'm gonna.
There's the Tron. There's the Triskelevis.
I think I'm gonna give this game.
I
to
think
Agura.
there's a seat in the championship match for Ryo Ogura.
So Japan has locked up the Player of the Year title.
You have. I would just noticed the same thing. Congratulations to Shota Yasaoka.
Player of the Year title, back-to-back
Back-to-back Japanese players of the year.
players.
1 title down, 2 to go for those guys.
Agura and Mahara are both vying to be back-to-back Japanese world champions.
That's right.
And coming up next We have
Katsuhiro
Mori
leads the Japanese national
getting
team.
back into the action. He's not done.
No, sir. Well, here's Nick Levette going through the motions, crashing into the teeth of Triskelivus with his Savannah Line. Savannah Line Magus to the scroll. Yep. Here's a couple Triskelevites. Block, block, block.
Then it's like,
You.
2 damage.
Wrath your team. Take 2.
Yep.
like 8, 12.
Yeah, Tiago actually saw someone was talking about that, the Howling Mine matchup in Hawaii
Honolulu?
for Tiago.
Yep.
And Tiago actually thought this matchup was worse than the Howling Mine matchup.
Wow.
So someone was looking for life counters that go above 100. Ostensibly to bring to Griffin's Friday Night Magic event.
Is there a company that makes 100-sided dice?
Yes, there is.
If there is, I think they're very excited. I think you just go with 3 10-siders,
Yes.
and you're good.
Stone Rain. But the Stone Rains have been pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, you really want to go... You want those on turn 3.
Right.
He hasn't had 3 mana on turn 3 in like 4 games.
Right. Gonna bust up the Tron here. Not out of this.
No?
No, Lovett is not out of this. I mean, he's taken 2 a turn. He's
He
got
was
a...
on 8. He was going to play another Triskelivus.
Well, he just had his Tron busted up. Did he remake it? No.
Still got 8 mana.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's good.
I think he's just going to sit on Spellburst with buyback.
Absolutely.
No reason to tap out for Triskelivus. It's just 2 a turn, spell bursting stuff. He can do that for 4 turns.
Judges urging these guys to play.
Wonder how long of a break they managed to give Gabriel Nassif.
Oh.
They sent him straight into the semis.
Interesting.
What happened?
So, Agora was debating at the end of his turn what he wanted to do, and he decided to tap out to make a factory token.
Oh, sure.
I don't know if I would have done that.
No, I don't think I would have. But only 1 Lightning Helix got fired at his head as a response. That dropped him to, what, 5?
Yes.
Now he gets to untap with 4 points of damage.
Sure, he
Turn
accelerates
to
his
4
clock.
o'clock.
Still seems
That seems a little scary.
little foolhardy.
I don't like that play. Because he's looking at just 3
I mean,
mana.
there's-
There's no way for him to get killed on 3 mana.
He could spell burst with buyback any spell in Lovett's deck.
Doesn't have that much blue mana, though. I think he can only spell burst twice a turn.
That's fine. But I mean, Lovett can realistically only cast 1 spell a turn.
Sure.
I'll be surprised if he does that again.
Well, he's got 4 now. He doubled his clock.
Well, it's more right. Yeah, he can.
Lovett did gain 3 life, which was not part of the plan.
So is Lovett actually at 11 right now?
Well, he just took 4 down to 7.
Okay.
Volcanic Hammer. Now, Lovett gets to see the spell burst. I would think.
With the buyback. He gets to see it before it returns to Agora's hand.
It is now Yellow Hat's upkeep. Yellow Hat plays the triggered ability of second semifinal, removing 1 suspend counter. Yellow Hat is the winner of the game. Ended on turn 2,378,569.
Just
Speaking of those Magic Online Premier events, Fred is sitting in the top 8 of one right now.
oh, excellent, good job. What are you playing? Or is it limited?
Bocephus Brown is wondering if we can get an estimate of the amount of damage Chan actually dealt to Nassif over the course of those 5 games.
Sure, we could do the math.
That's a lot. I mean, he dealt hundreds of damage, right?
Hundreds of damage.
Multiple hundreds, I'm sure. Ogura continues to serve. He's got an assembly worker. He's got a Triskelavus. He plays another Triskelavus, pulls off 2 counters for the last couple of points, and there it is. Ryo Ogura is through to the finals. The Japanese player will be defending Katsuhiro Mori's title with Katsuhiro Mori's deck. Who will be playing against him, however? Nick Levette falls in the semis 3-2. Ogura will be playing for the title later this afternoon, but will it be Gabriel Nassif playing against him, or will it be fellow Japanese player Makihito Mahara and his Dragonstorm deck? Katsu runs up to the table, talking to his friend, talking to his buddy. They're talking about the matchup. Hugging him. They're pretty happy. Yeah, Katsuhiro Mori and Ryo Ogura doing the post game.
I think they're talking about Mahara's top deck. Actually.
Did Ogura finally get the news? That's funny. Yeah, Katsu pats his friend on the back. Meanwhile, we got some unfinished business.
Good job, Nicholas
In
Levette.
fact, we got some barely started business. Yeah, great weekend for Nick Levette, and he is, like I said, on the gravy train. On the gravy train all of next year. He'll be back at Worlds a year from now, and he's got the opportunity to play everything in between.
See if he can propel Wales into the stratosphere with Portugal and Brazil, and get the keep the UK's sort of burgeoning Magic scene alive.
Meanwhile, on the back table, there's Gabe Nassif. There's Makihito Mahara. The life is 26-16. It is game 1. Nassif's Martyrtron deck playing against Mahara's Dragonstorm. If Nassif's on 26, he's clearly resolved 1 Martyr of Sands. That Dragonstorm deck is really good at dealing 20, and it's really capable of doing it quickly. Not so good at dealing 30 damage.
No, especially against a deck
Really
with Wrath
hard
of
to have
God.
that deck deal 30.
If your opponent gains 3 life and shows you Wrath of God in the process, I'm pretty sure you can pack. Or you have to go to a different plan. I mean, it may be that you have to go to a plan where you're going to
Like this
bring
plan.
out a Hellkite.
There is Bogerden Hellkite in play.
Right, get a Hellkite
And 8
and just ride that Hellkite until your opponent deals with it.
Yeah, looks like 8 tapped mana. But I heard the word forecast out of Gabriel Nassif.
The forecast calls for life gain with intermittent Hellkites.
There's a Muse Vessel on Gabriel Nassif's side of the board as well.
Yeah, that's another card that this deck just does not want to see.
Mm-mm.
And every card is precious in the Dragonstorm deck.
Compulsive Research. Nassif digging. What's under the Muse Vessel?
It looks like one of the Rite of Flames.
Yeah, Rite of Flame. Ask for another card and gets
15.
Hunted Dragon.
Hunted Dragon goes to 35. Good game.
Yeah.
He probably isn't.
Nassif gains 15 up to 35.
30.
Dragon comes over. Nassif falls to 30.
No, just pack. Wow.
You think?
I don't know. I mean, what's he going to do?
Proclamates.
He can't possibly win this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is that Giga Drowse?
that is Giga Drowse.
Does that get the job done?
No.
He's got like 1 card in his hand, right? I mean, Giga Drowse as a response to Proclamation means no life this turn. It means he can keep Gab at 30, but he has to then deal 30, which he's not capable of doing with 1 card.
Use the cutter dice.
Yeah. 45.
Yeah, also you can just float the mana's response. 45 to 16. Yeah, this game's over.
40.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's World Championships, it's the semifinals, you're fighting to go through to the finals. You just don't want to scoop, but I just can't see a situation where he can possibly win.
No. I mean, Mahara may want to play long enough to make sure he understands the match.
Sure.
Romance
seeing
is a
that
season
again.
song.
We saw Thiago do that against Nassif as well.
Oh, the message boards are down for their nightly maintenance.
No!
Lose our contact. They, part of the daily maintenance for the website. They should be back up probably an hour or two.
Okay.
After lunch, basically.
All right. No, we still love all you guys.
Muse Vessel's actually really important to this game. I mean, it seems like Mahara could, in theory, build up a hand. But, I mean, with Muse Vessel just depriving him of all those rituals, he's never going to get off a big storm.
I just don't see any situation where...
No, I think this game... I'm not even sure mathematically that there's a scenario.
50.
I mean, if Mahara could stack both the decks, I don't think he can win.
Yeah, that's an excellent... That'd be an excellent exercise. I wonder. It's like a magic to puzzling.
If he stacks, he puts all of his dragons on top of his deck and gives Gabe no Wrath of Gods. I still think he loses because he's facing 15.
Well, with the hands as they are right now.
Right,
I mean?
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
130. Stack. Gain 18.
Like 68, 16.
I guess he's gonna make Nassif kill him.
Go.
So we're going to lunch and win, no matter what?
Okay.
Was that, Scott?
That's so funny. I mean, Nassif has total control of this game, but Mahara's just not going to. He's not going to give it up. I mean, and again, there's something to be said for that. You could just wear down your opponent. He knows Nassif. Has just played for 3 hours, or close to 3 hours. Perhaps by just making Nassif play it out, he can get some read on Nassif's.
There's a condemn.
Nassif's
Uses
tells.
the condemn to get rid of the dragon.
21. Oh, 20. Okay, 20. Sure.
So to give you guys an update on what the schedule looks like for today, we're in the semifinal match right now. We're going to go to lunch in half an hour,
Probably forgot that.
one way or the other. Whether this
All right.
match is over or not, we're going to take our lunch break, and then we'll come back. I'll have to see, actually, if I don't know if it's possible to leave the overhead camera on these guys, but I mean, we're obliged to give the camera crew a break. So we're going to have to take an hour-long lunch break, and I don't see this game ending this match ending anytime soon.
No.
5 cards, game 15.
We could have a leisurely lunch.
Yeah.
And
Even if it doesn't move, you can't just leave it there. Okay.
Go.
Yeah, so we've got some lunchtime entertainment queued up. We'll show that. We'll come back. We'll check in on
do we know what we
check in on
have?
the match between Gabe. I believe it's a collection of video pieces. I don't think it's an old show.
Okay.
We've played through most
Show
of
some
those.
Spellburst with buyback. We're on to game 2. That's what it took.
There we go.
That's
Mahara
what it took.
scoops them up. What was it? Spellburst?
Spellburst with buyback with a Chrono Savant to actually get in there and do some damage.
All right. Congratulations, Gabriel Nassif. He is now up a game. Up 1-0 on Makihito Mahara. Can Mahara put his Dragonstorm combo deck together? We'll find out.
Can Nassif draw turn 1 Martyr?
Yeah, this matchup looks totally lopsided. Is this worse?
And this is one of the decks. This is one of the decks that this deck is designed to beat.
Nassif was expecting a field full of Dragonstorm?
He was expecting to see Dragonstorm, and I mean, this is he looked at the metagame. He looked at what are the decks that people are going to play against me,
right?
And what do I need to do to beat as many of them as possible?
And he came up with Gain Life.
He came up with gain life and gain impossible amounts of life. I mean, that's what's really the Snow White decks are great, and they can do that, but it's really difficult for them to do it. Like as effectively as this deck does.
Sure.
Without the Tron, it's just really challenging.
Sure.
You have to get up to 7 mana the fair way. And your opponent still can do stuff to disrupt you. They can resolve their land destruction, their annex, whatever. This comes online just much faster.
Mm-hmm.
And then also has the Spellburst, also has the Chrono Savant. It's just
the deck's a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
Hats off to Gabe. Now, who did he work with for this tournament?
Well, when we went to Nassif's apartment, We saw Heasy, Mark Herberholz,
Sure.
Pro Tour Honolulu winner. We saw Neil Reeves.
All right.
We saw Richard Hone.
Sure.
We saw Jelger Viergersma.
Okay.
We saw Jose Barbero.
Okay.
Trying to think, make sure I'm not missing anybody. I don't think I am. I think that
That's a
was
pretty good crew.
Pretty good crew. I liked Nassif in John Becker's interview with him during the, I guess it was the day 3 wrap. And he's like, so, talk to me about your standard deck. He's like, well, I had some friends at my house to work on standard. Yes. Some guys from the local Friday Night Magic crowd came over to my house, and we ate some chips, and we built some decks. Oh, by the way, it was, Rich Hone, Mark Herberholz, Neil Reeves, Jose Barbero, Jelger Viergersma, etc. So,
the average Pro Tour club level of that crowd is like 4.5.
Yeah.
Maybe 5.
Yeah. How did Rich Hone do? He was doing pretty well this weekend. I want to just talk about just while we're talking about just interesting constructed decks.
Yeah.
Michael Nurse. Did you see his deck list?
No.
Michael Nurse is playing a deck in Extended that went. I don't remember if it went 5-0-1, 5-1, or 6-0, but it was one of the. It's on the page because it's one of the top finishing Extended decks.
Yep.
And it has Balancing Act.
Okay.
And Dirk Wood Bailoff.
Really?
4 times Dirk Wood Bailoff.
Isn't Greater Gargadon the guy you want in your Balancing Act deck?
That's what people say, but
didn't Balancing Tings put up one of the worst performances of the day? Everybody had their Gargadons. They didn't know the Bailoff tech, I guess.
I'm looking to see. We don't have. Maybe we only have. I'm looking to see if it's on here. Helmut Sommersberger. Look at this. Again, just
he's
another.
He's the new Jelger Viergersma.
Yeah, he really
just quietly puts up money finish.
He finished 32nd at this event, which seems to be his. Of course, exactly.
Where was Jelger?
Jelger was 34th. He was obviously bumped out by the new Jelger.
So consistently good. That's actually a big bump, too, by the way. Jelger wound up with, I believe, 39 points on the year. Or 49. He was 1 point short of leveling up.
Right. So Michael Nurse.
Yeah.
4 Dirkwood Bailoff, 3 Dirkwood Bailoff, 4 Anorid Brushhopper.
Wow.
That's his creature base for this deck, which is it's an Enduring Ideal deck, actually.
Oh, okay.
So it's very Asahara-like. It's got a couple of different themes going on. Obliterate, Enduring Ideal, Form of the Dragon, Dovescape, Solitary Confinement, Balancing Act, Tainted Pact, Burning Wish, Overmaster. It's a very exciting deck list. And it's got Dirkwood Bailout. So, Extended, we talked about that being just still unexplored. And
can you just, go to the shop and look up the $1 rare box and pick out everything?
He must have, because look, he's got Archaeological Digs, Sulfur Vents. This is a fun deck.
1 Dovescape.
I guess if you balance with a Dirkwood Bailoff pending.
All right. Sounds like Game 2 is underway.
Sounds like Game 2 is over. We've got
Adhikar Waste from Martyr of Sands from Gabrielle Nassif. Mahara got the turn 1 Lotus Bloom.
So really, it really is a 2-part combo here for Nassif.
He needs some white cards. What is that?
Is that
Circle of Protection Red? Uh-oh.
What does Mahara have to deal with? Well, he has to leave the Giga Drowse in, and that's because of the COP, right?
Okay.
Remember we were talking about that last game.
The Thief decided that. Cop Red worth more life on the table than in his hand. Lotus Bloom.
He might not have a Wrath. He might not have a Wrath yet. Might not have a second white yet. But again, even if we see a Giga Drowse from Mahara,
yeah, Gable gained some life as a response.
Maybe. Did he sideboard in
Trickbind?
Trickbind.
Ha!
would be an exciting play.
Well, there's a ritual. Storm count is 2. Seething Song.
Yeah.
Storm of 3 and 5 mana. It's got to go for it, right? Seething Song, Seething Song. There's the Dragon Storm for, what is it, 5?
Okay.
Yeah, Storm is 5.
Hand's empty, right? There's no trick bind here.
I'm sure it's in the deck, but... Right, these Dragonstorm copies resolve one at a time. That was actually a step that I saw some people sort of rushing through. but
Sure.
It's a bunch of different spells on the stack, right?
1 and
Each copy.
4.
So this is going to deal 1 to the Martyr and 4 to Gabe.
So we're
Mahara
gonna
wants to
say-
force the Martyr, see what's going on before he
Code 10.
makes his decisions about the other copies of Dragonstorm. Gabe's obviously going to sack his response.
Take 4.
No.
He's got the cop red.
He decides not to sack his response. He's happier with Cop Red. Is that right? Must not have very many white cards in his deck.
We'll have to
And he
ask him.
took that 4.
He did take that 4.
I guess he's expecting future dragons to deal 5. Okay, 5 to you. That gets prevented by Cop Red. 5 more to you. You cop then, right?
I think so. This must be a very bad hand from Nassif.
Yeah.
Nine.
9, wow.
Huh.
You prevent.
Hunted dragon.
Yeah, Hunted Dragon. And that's you're going to want to cop the attack of that. So, I mean, the Thief prevented the maximum damage. He's going to prevent 16.
Yeah.
Is that a second Hunted Dragon?
I guess so.
Yeah, the Hunted Dragon's attack.
Prevents. 1. Yeah.
So Nassif all the way down to 3. Untap, he needs the Wrath of God here, right? He does not have enough mana to stop all of those guys with his Cop Red. Did Mahara pull this off? Through Cop Red and a turn 1 Martyr?
Sure looks like it.
Wow! Gabriel Nassif cannot deal with the Dragonstorm combo
What was
that his deck
Nassif's
was
hand?
built to beat.
What was Nassif's hand?
I just heard John Becker say 4 lands and a Muse Vessel.
Well, yeah, that's not going to do it.
No.
I mean, it's assumed that when the martyr shows up on time,
There's 4
that
white
his
cards.
friends show up to meet him. So,
Nah.
if
Wow.
I was just well, I mean, that's a misfire for his deck.
All right, 1 misfire for Gabriel Nassif, and Mahara has evened this at a game apiece. We are going to take a lunch break now. We're going to go ahead and give our camera crew a break. Got a lot of Magic left to be played today, so Gabriel Nassif and Makihito Mahara will continue playing off camera. We'll bring you some lunchtime entertainment. We'll come back. We'll check in. We'll see how these guys are doing, and then we've also got the team draft queued up. So that's what you've got to look forward to. Pretty much 1 hour from now, we should be back live. Brian and I will bring you the update on the Nassif match, and we'll get ready for the team draft. So see you guys in 1 hour.